All right, let's wheel this into the last beer of bad news, Mister. What's his name? Is Alex?
Yeah.
Oh my god, this pissed me off today. Okay, so for those that don't know, a 13-year-old kid was gunned down by a cop in Chicago. The video footage finally got released to the public a couple days ago. And
Adam. Sorry.
Oh, it's Adam. Sorry,
Adam Toledo.
Adam Toledo. Thank you. Sorry, I didn't mean Alex. Adam.
Yeah, I had to double check.
I had some of those letters right.
Bro, it's so hard. I mean, how do you keep up? You can't keep up.
Google.
Because we'll have what is it right now? It's the 18th of April. We'll have another one before the end of the month.
Shit, we'll probably have another one this week.
Oh, man, I know I'm trying to put the energy out there, but
I know, but that's reality. That's our reality.
Yeah,
that's our reality right now. Is the fact that we're probably gonna have another one this week. Hell, we had the fucking FedEx shooting a couple days ago in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
So, America's a no holds barred country, guys. It's ghetto. People who live outside of the U.S. don't come here.
Don't.
Not right now, at least.
Don't.
Or be strapped when you come here. Just be safe.
Man, don't even be strapped, because you're not be able to do it.
Yeah.
You better have some good aim, boy. These little niggas can shoot.
Hey, have you seen some of the gun laws that they have in other countries?
Mm.
Man, they have them take marksman training if you want to have a gun.
Really?
Yeah, I think last one I looked at was Sweden, and they went through like all the classes and procedures and everything they have to do for that. I'm like, so all of y'all licensed gun owners in Sweden are assassins, but you still can't really have a gun for real.
Yeah.
So you know how to shoot, and you're marksman, but they have better comments on the gun legislation.
I mean, I think that should be everyone. I mean, anyone that buys a gun should be forced to do gun training.
Makes sense.
Oh, 100%.
But, Americans don't believe that. It is our right to have a gun is more important than anything else. So you don't want to be able to use it properly? But that's neither here nor there. But back to Adam. So my issue is the mistake I made. An associate of mine has been commenting on this, and it pisses me off every time they do this because they come at it with a very pro-police attitude. And I'm like, you can be pro-police, but to tell me that this whole situation wasn't wrong on the cop at the end of the day still, like, I'm not excusing every bit of information from here. And the only thing I can assume is that they only got part of the story and not the rest of it. They got the portion of the story that it's a 13-year-old kid at 2 o'clock in the morning was out with a 21-year-old. I'm assuming that it was potentially gang related. I don't know. That's information gets spread out on the media very poorly. So they like to paint the narrative that somebody is a criminal all the time.
Yeah, neither here nor there.
Neither here nor there. But I'm just gonna throw that out there. He's with a 21-year-old, 13-year-old kid, past the curfew, and hands up, turned around, cop shoots him immediately the second he turns around. So the second he's looking eye to eye with the police, cop shoots him dead in the chest. Now, do you want to sit there and say, hey, he's a bad kid for being out of curfew, hanging out with a 21-year-old, potentially gangbanging? True. Was his parents responsible because he was out at ungodly hour? Also true. For whatever reason, kid allegedly had a weapon. I think he did have a weapon, but he threw the weapon away. So first he was running away from the police officer, and then he disposed of the weapon. So he didn't have the weapon on him. Still gets shot, killed. My question becomes, does that justify his death? Does it justify him getting arrested? Yes. Mm-hmm. Does it justify the loss of his life? No. And then to add insult to injury, the cop lied on the police report about what happened.
Yeah.
That's the nail in the coffin.
What did you say again?
He pretty much painted out the story almost exactly. He said that the kid had a gun, that he pointed the gun at the officer before he shot him. If my mind serves me correctly. I might have to look into that a little bit more because I've only heard, I heard/read what was in the report once. So by default, after seeing that and then seeing the video, I automatically discount it as one that the cop is wrong in its entirety. But also the fact is, I also have the same philosophy is, I understand the person might be breaking a law and the person might be a criminal. If they're running away from you, they are not a threat to you.
True.
People don't run away from people with the intent to harm. People run away from people for fear for their own life.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too about the video. And the video is a double-edged sword because it bugs me because it proves our point, but it also, in the wrong hands, can prove someone else's point.
Mm-hmm.
Because, so the kid's running down the alley, right? From watching the video, you can tell he's not he's a kid.
Yeah, he's not an adult.
You can tell he's a fucking kid from a mile away. And then when he gets to that hole in the fence where he's shot at, if you break the video down frame by frame really fucking slow, he has something in his right hand that he tosses through the hole in the fence.
Yeah, which was allegedly the gun that he had.
But that's probably about 10 feet from where the cop shot him at.
Mm-hmm.
So he throws the gun, he stops. The cop keeps running. And then, like you said, he threw his hands up. And I watched it a couple times to make sure. He throws his hands up before he turns. And then he turns to face her. Or him. I forgot. Him.
Like I said, too many incidents. Too many incidents.
Turns and faces him. And then the guy shoots him. Now, and the thing about it, which makes me more upset about it, is he shot him. And then the kid's limp, like Pimp's limp.
Mm-hmm.
You go through his pockets first. And then pull him out of the alley before applying any pressure, checking, see if he's alive. Like, you're so scared of weapons. You went to go check. Like, I mean.
And then after that, he's like, "Kid, are you okay?" And it's like, bro, like, he's motionless.
Yeah. Motionless, bro. I have a cousin who's 21 years old. He weighs 150 pounds. Like, that kid had to weigh maybe 90 pounds, 95 pounds. I can punch that kid in the chest and kill him. You just shot him, what, twice?
Once.
You putting that motherfucker down, man.
Well, like I said, I hated the fact that I was like, I'm watching all these people make all of these excuses for what happened. They're talking about his parents. They're talking about why he's out. They want to sit there and say, oh, yeah, this was completely unavoidable if he was at home like he was supposed to be. Guys, show some compassion, empathy. You don't know what this kid's situation is like at home.
Yeah.
And the issue was a lot of them were overwhelmingly white. Mm-hmm. There was a handful of black people commenting on it. Because can I agree that the situation that the kid was put in, the kid shouldn't have been in? Yes. Can I sit back and go like, hey, the kid shouldn't have been out at 2:00 in the morning with a 21-year-old, 13-year-old with a 21-year-old at 2:00 in the morning. Shouldn't have happened. But at the same time, I don't know the kid's situation at home. And I do know that a lot of people that are in that lifestyle, they may not have a 2-parent home. Their mother might not be around, may not love them like that. And so they have attached to another adult or parent figure, and they're doing whatever, and they get into the life, or all that other stuff. There's so many other factors at play that could lead to why that person was there. But at the end of the day, it was your job to detain, try, and charge him. It was not your job to murder them.
Yeah, and then what people don't understand is when you say that he shouldn't have been out that late, and him being out that late is his fault or his parents' fault, you're omitting to the fact that, or agreeing to the fact that being outside, at that late, cops are dangerous. Mm-hmm. That's what you're agreeing with.
Yeah,
he wasn't shot in like a gang murder or a gang fight. He's with a friend, and the cops killed him. Mm-hmm. You're pretty much agreeing that being out that late, cops are dangerous. Cops are a problem. When you're out that late, you know what I mean? So you're stabbing yourself in the foot.
You're like they always end up doing it that way.
Yeah,
and it's like there's just that omission of responsibility or anything, and it's just like they just don't. It's like their reason for killing somebody is paper thin, because they keep painting the what ifs, like what if he did this, what if he did that. I was like, well, here's the reality situation. None of that happened. Mm-hmm. What happened in that situation was the kid was known for killing people? Was he a real suspect? Did somebody eyeball him as he killed somebody and a cop chased him down and all that stuff? No, none of that happened. So you can come up with your what ifs, because even the nicest person or a serial killer, you can go, what if? I can have what ifs for days about anything. But did it happen? No. But it's not their place to kill them, especially when their life was not at risk.
Yeah, if I learned anything from, have you watched the Gabriel Fernandez documentary?
Mm-mm.
So it's about the kid who got killed by the girl, the woman's boyfriend.
Oh, okay. I've heard of it. I haven't.
Yeah. So pretty much, what I learned about that documentary is that the system. So the people are blaming the parents and blaming these kids. The system is so flooded with problems. So this kid was abused badly, right? They would shave his head and do weird haircuts on him, and they'd beat him up. He'd go into school with black guys. He's 7, 8 years old.
So of course, you're going to build psychological.
Well, child services were called on the family 10 times before he was murdered by the parents. So they're not taking care of these kids. You know what I mean? These social workers have 190 cases, 1-2 kids per case. You know what I mean?
And it's not enough of them to really.
Not enough of them do anything. So this kid's been checked on 10 times, and he's at home. He's living in a cupboard. They have a bed for him, but they don't let him sleep in the bed. He sleeps in a cupboard, and they feed him bananas. His siblings feed him bananas through the slit. He only eats breakfast. Like, he doesn't like so people are fucked up, and the system's not going to protect these kids. And the good parents who are working, they're working. A lot of especially Hispanic families, they work overnight shifts in hotels and restaurants,
or multiple jobs
where they're not at home. You know what I mean? He's 13, 14 years old. He can feed himself. He can cook and clean and shit like that. Like, that's the lack of understanding between the social barrier, is that they don't see that. Like, these white families who have trust funds and savings accounts and multiple parents in the fucking household will never,
or stay-at-home parents
will never see the outside, see this boundaries. Oh, my mom works and I stay home, and they come home and they check on me, blah blah. Like, what the fuck? Like, you're not built from the same cloth whatsoever. You know what I mean? Like when that one lady left her child at home to work, and the 2-year-old died. Like, people were talking about how shitty she was, but like, if she doesn't go work,
then she can't feed the child.
She can't feed her child. She has to give her child away at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, and it was a one-off, leaving the child. You know what I mean? Or once in a while she's done it, she said. But like, do you blame the mom? Do you blame the system? You know what I mean? Like, she should be able to have a daycare should be free for people in certain situations. You know what I mean? Head Start program, shit like that. Like, it's difficult.
Did you hear about the woman that got arrested for fraud, for medical fraud, for like Medicaid? She had 2 kids. I think it was 2 kids. Both had medical issues, and of course, where she lived, she could have applied for Medicare, so that way she can have affordable health care for her child. That was necessary. Problem is that she made just enough money to be over that line.
Oh,
and the neighboring state, she could get it there. So she used a fake address so that way she could get her child the medical care that she needed for his for their safety, as well as work. And eventually she got caught. And of course they arrested her and everything for it because of the situation that, like she said, the state that she lived in, she was over the amount to work. Because even if she decided not to work, that's worse, because now you have no income and everything. And literally, it was the only thing that she could do. Otherwise, the life of her children would be at risk. So what do you do?
And yeah, you send her to jail, right? What do you do now, though? Do you still have to pay for? You can't take this child off the medication now. So now the government's paying anyway, because the kids are in foster care. You know what I mean? Someone's still paying for this child's medication. Can't let the child die at this point. It's in government care.
So you're in the exact same situation.
The difference is
you took the mom away.
Exactly. Now the kid's depressed. You took the mom away.
It's just like you don't know the full situation, or you haven't, or you are privileged enough to not have to live in that situation to understand that. And it's just like, where's the line of empathy? Because if you assume that everybody lived by your standards, I don't know what bubble neighborhood you grew up in or live in currently. Like, but even, like I said, we all have friends or people that we went to school with that we blatantly know were poorer than us.
Yeah.
It's just known. It's like, this kid doesn't have it as good, nowhere near as good as I do. And not to say that you have it great. You could, just be mediocre, but you always have a group of people that you know that you went to school with that were so much worse than what you had.
100%. Family members, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I would go visit my cousins. You know, it's 7 of us staying at my uncle's house. And, you know, my mom was doing well. You know, some of my cousins' parents weren't doing it as well or were in jail. You know, if I have an allowance, I go to my uncle's house, $20. You know what I mean? And he wants to buy us all food. I'll give him the $20. Mm-hmm. You know, I'm 10 years old, 8 years old, help paying to feed my family. You know, he's going to get a plate of like, you know, a bucket, like a pan of chicken from JJ's. I'm like, oh, here's $20. He gives like fries and stuff too, or get more food. Like, so I'm staying here for 2 days. Like, can you help? Like, you know, I would do, you know, it's all for one type of vibe.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Which I didn't have to. I didn't have to bring that money with me. I could left that at home and come visit my cousins and, you know,
and just
you know, do what they're doing. You know what I mean? But no, it's a family thing, and people aren't built that way, and it's scary. It's a very scary trait not to have empathy. Mm-hmm. Especially when it's so easy now to see that. You know what I mean? You see how big it is. It was different when the information
wasn't as readily available.
Or it was fed via the newspaper, or like, you know, magazines. So, you know, in the 90s, that was the only way you're getting information about other communities that you weren't living in. Now it's
death of the fairness doctrine. Mm-hmm. Oh God,
yeah,
we need that back so bad.
Yeah, and now the problem is, because it's so readily available, that one term he used, fake news,
fucked everything up. If you consistently tell somebody a lie over and over again, eventually it'll stick.
Mm-hmm. Because they'll forget it's based in the lie. Mm-hmm. It's such a norm now. You forget that it's a lie.
Because the second something sounds outrageous that people aren't going to believe, they just go straight to that fake. This is fake.
Yeah.
There's no way in hell this is true.
Exactly. I used to tell people all the time in 7th grade, I had a girlfriend in Canada for so long, to one day I'm like, damn, I called my girl today. And I remember she's not real.
You know what? I actually know, like, I met like a group of girls from Canada when I one of the times I went to the Bahamas, so I could have played that shit off. Because we were in communication on a regular basis anyway, so I could have just easily said that and just lied and gotten away with it.
Yeah, that's true.
But even in that situation, at least I had enough true facts to make that real. Yeah. It's like, yeah, it's false, but I have enough pieces to prove that I'm technically not lying.
Yeah.
So
yeah, and you know, the worst part about it too, I had no idea how far Canada was. So I was like, oh, it takes like 5 hours to get to her.
No.
No, man.
A little longer than that, homie.
Yeah, well, these niggas, lucky all my friends are stupid too, because they believe me.
What was it? I said something to Jeremy. I thought it was one of the last videos we did, and I was just like, I had him listen to 2 songs. They were the same song, but one was a live version that was done like 10 years after the song was made. The other was the original. And he just like, this sounds so different. I said, would you believe if I told you that these are 2 different singers? And he was just like, yeah, I can believe it. I'm just like, it's not. It's the same singer. and the fact is just like, you know, even amongst us, it's like we have enough trust amongst each other that even if we said something outrageous, we're not going to really question it unless it's really, really outrageous.
Yeah.
Because also the fact is, like, it'll be one of those times, it's like, let's say you say something wild, like, come on, that's not true. And then you like your full dome argument.
Yeah.
Your full dome argument.
Yeah.
As outrageous as that sounds, if you were to go on a rant right now and talk about your full dome, people were like, what the fuck are you talking about? But it's a real thing.
Yeah, full dome's a real thing, people. Google it.
But
yeah, full dome shirt. So I'm gonna make a full dome. You know what? Full dome shirts. All right, a link will be in the video. I'm gonna make it by the end of the week.
This is something's gonna get done.
Yeah, we'll print one out.
But we've established enough trust to the point where it's just like, okay, you're clearly not lying.
Yeah.
Even though you might be.